My name is Ben Azulai, known as King Azulai.
No, I'm drifting, catch you slipping, won't be back again.
We know what we want in life, we go out there and we get it.
Can't roll the riches, lot of fishes, so we throwing nets. Hide the shipping, magic and I, yeah, we back again.
What's going on, guys? King Azulai here. Welcome to the second episode. I got my brother here with me, Dylan.
What's up, what's up?
What's going on, brother? Thank you for coming by.
Anytime. Thank you for the invite.
So today, guys, we're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to give you some advice. I feel like a lot of young people don't know what to do in relationships, and somebody like me who's been in mostly long-term relationships and not just short-term, and also my brother here, I have learned quite a bit. Also, as somebody that has a son and was with someone who has two kids, had a teenager at home for a while. Not my son, but someone else's kid, and I could tell you that I learned a lot from having a full, family at the house, especially as having a teenager and having all the battles of the young guys not so sure what they want to do. They're not so sure if they want to go to school. They don't really feel like doing their homework, and it really brought me to the place that I got today by having all these relationships, because you learn from every person. Every person is a lesson. So I feel like there's a lot that we could provide to you guys, and I decided to make a full podcast with my brother, who's actually an extremely amazing guy in relationships, and he's been in a long-term relationship now, and
Yeah,
I feel
about
like
5 years.
I feel like there's a lot that he could give you guys. So, brother, let's start talking about, I feel like the best thing that we could start with is for the young people, from teenagers to mid-20s, when guys don't really know what it is they're doing with their life, what it is that they want to see in their life, the job, if they're going to college, university. They're really in a place of an unsure, and having someone in their life sometimes could be also very emotional because of the roller coaster arguments, a lot of them get very jealous. What can you give us about those things?
Yeah, no, today, what I would recommend for the younger crowd is, if you are single, stay single, and not saying you need to enjoy life in your 20s. I think you should work very hard in your 20s. Mm-hmm. I don't think you should be looking for a relationship. If one comes and it might be the right girl, then maybe consider it. But I definitely would recommend for guys who are, just getting out of high school, going to college, those are the times that you're, focusing on your life. And it's just better, just to focus on doing you, bettering yourself, making sure that you're finding out what you want to do with your life, and just growing as an individual. A lot of people, they get into relationships and they just kind of get stuck.
Right.
And it's very hard, especially when you have another person to worry about,
to care for,
to provide. And it's very demanding, when you're in a relationship, it's a relationship. You have to give that person a lot of your time. You can't just be in a relationship and not, give this person your time and focus on yourself.
Right.
Because then now you're kind of putting them in the shadows.
I feel like also from watching our parents, mom and dad's been together since she was 12,
Yeah.
he was 13. They were together their whole life, and they got divorced 7 years ago. Now, you guys don't know, but my dad was a professional drummer, and he was a famous guy in Israel, did very, very well. Could have pretty much had any girl he wanted, but keeping the women away when you're in a committed relationship is very, very difficult when you become famous and as a young guy. Now, as soon as they got divorced and separated, they started complaining about the fact that they suffered for 40 years.
Yeah, they didn't get to enjoy their life. And, I bet they had good times, but from what it seemed like, they kind of just, stayed together for 40 years and didn't really get to enjoy their life and get to know themselves as a person. It was just always them being together. So it's like they never knew anything different, and they're just kind of stuck in their own way.
Right. So as I see it, our parents said that they've suffered for 40 years. And a lot of marriages seem to fail nowadays. One thing I know is that now today, being my age, if I was to marry anybody, she needs to be 10 years younger than me. And the reason I say that is because women just mature much faster than men. So if there's a 20-year-old girl, she thinks exactly like a 30-year-old man. Now, a man needs to be able to protect and provide, and at that time when he turns 30, it's almost like you're more settled. You know what you want from life. You understand things better too. When you're talking to somebody, you understand them. It's not all about what I want now, what I must have. It's all about me, me, me. All of a sudden, you really understand what a person needs. And you know how to be very responsive instead of being reactive. And even a small argument. And arguments could happen every day when you're with somebody, living with them, going through life with them, and growing with them. Now, if you're somebody that's 20 years old and you're dating a 20-year-old girl, that's beautiful. It really is. But for a man, when you're dating someone that's 20 years old and you're 20 and you just started life, if you guys got married, unless you're very religious and you had, let's say, an arranged marriage where the parents met each other, and then after they met each other, after about 6 months that everything is okay, you also don't have sex till marriage. And then after that, you have sex when you get married and you start having a family and you live a more religious life, more living about growing as two people that believe in God, getting the kids to truly believe in God, and you're someone who worships God, and you don't look all day on social media and think, oh, that guy has this kind of girlfriend, or that guy has that kind of money, or this girl has a big butt that I like, or the other girl's got the greatest body and that's what I want to be with. Wanting to be with somebody for a long-term relationship and a marriage, it's not about how they look. But as young men, when we see something and we are not religious, which is the majority of the people in the world, they're not like very religious. You could say, yeah, I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm Muslim, I'm Buddhist, whatever it is, but people are not like very strict about it because it is what it is. It's very difficult to be strict because you feel like you're not living.
Well, it's a lot of temptations. A lot of people have temptations, but I feel like a lot of people in their 20s, if they're going to be dating, I feel like there should be, just focusing on dating and focusing on making money. If they are going to get married young, I don't recommend having kids young as well, kind of wait it out. Because the thing is like when you're going to be in a relationship, you also want to give your partner their time,
Right.
your time, and enjoy life with them.
Yeah,
until
that's very true.
until you're 30 plus, then it's time to have kids because also you've made your money.
Right.
And now you can enjoy time with your kids as well. When people are young and they have kids, they're working, the husband is working all day long, all day, and he doesn't have time for the wife, he doesn't have time for the kids, he has to worry about paying the bills.
Right.
So I think if you're gonna be in a relationship and if you got married young, and you're gonna have, thinking about having kids, you just try to wait it out. Basically just try to hustle, make as much money as you possibly can until you're about 30. After you're settled, you make, a good income and you're comfortable, then start deciding on having kids. So then you can give those kids the attention that they need.
Right, because kids do need attention. They need
They need
love.
a lot.
They don't need a bank account. They don't need an ATM. Here is $20, here's $100, leave me alone. They need time and attention, especially for boys. They need a dad. And to be honest with you, a mom is a mom. She'll always be a mom. She's the best thing in the world. But boys, in order to turn into men, they need a dad.
They need a father figure, yeah.
They must have that father figure. It's very, very important. Even if you're someone out there that's divorced or someone that's separated, if your ex is willing to be a part of the kid's life, no matter what, let him be a part of it. Because it's so important for the child. Don't think that, if you have a new boyfriend or a new husband, he doesn't need his real father. He needs his dad around because it's always going to be blood for him. He's always going to feel more secure around his real father.
There's a lot of women that make the husband, the ex-husband, look like a bad guy to their kids, you know, and it's fucked up. They tell their son, like, your dad was a piece of shit, or this and this and that, building a lot of bad image to the kids. And it could be like the best dad in the world, but because now his mom is taking control over him, you know, telling his, you know, that his dad is this, this, and this, and he starts to believe in it. You know, and they don't understand that, the women don't understand that they're actually hurting their child.
Hurting him completely.
They're hurting him, you know?
Because you guys, you have to understand, even if you think it benefits you to tell your son that the dad is bad, even if he is bad, let's say, even if he's a bad guy, you are causing him damage because that's still his dad and he loves him. So now he's between choosing, do I go with mom, do I go with dad? That's the worst thing you could do for your son or your daughter.
Yeah, you never want to put your son or daughter in the middle of anything.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like if you're married, if you're a husband, don't talk shit about the ex-wife. If you're, you know, if it's your ex-wife, don't talk shit about the ex-husband. You know, always make it seem like everything is perfect, so the kid grows in a healthy environment.
Right.
You know, it's the first few years of a child's life is like when he's absorbing the most.
Right.
You know, so then it's like, you know, as he gets older, he has all this past trauma. And he doesn't realize, like, what's wrong with me. He's trying to figure out what's wrong with him. But he doesn't, you know, he doesn't understand that it's like stuff that he was told as a kid.
For the people who have kids, I could recommend to you is never, ever, ever have like real arguments around the kids. It's good to have an argument and then have it being resolved next to the kid. But don't cross the line. Don't curse in the house, don't yell, don't raise your voice.
Don't throw shit around.
Yeah, you could have an agreement or disagreement, and you could also agree to disagree, which is perfectly fine. It doesn't have to get out of control, and this is something that we hear about a lot, and I get a lot of messages about that. You know, I was raised by a father and mother that were fighting all the time. My dad was very tough with me. My dad was an asshole. I understand that. At the end of the day, he's a dad and sometimes he's going to have his ups and downs. But if you could just keep it away from the kids will grow up to be phenomenal adults. And people say, oh, we need to leave a better world for our kids. But why don't you leave better kids for our world and the world will thrive? Now, back to young people and relationships. A man needs to be able to take care of himself before he takes care of another person.
Yeah, if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to openly, you know, love somebody else.
The biggest problem that people have is they go, here is my happiness. Dylan, I love you. You hold my happiness in your hand. Now you're in control of my happiness.
Yeah.
If I'm not happy, it's because of you. No, you guys have to be happy on your own. Then you bring someone into the relationship and you make them happy. You give them some sort of happiness, more happiness than what they had. If you ever want to get married, marry somebody also that is in love with the thought of marriage. Why? Because if right now I'm in love with the thought of marriage and my woman is not in love with the thought of marriage, all the pressure is on me. She married me and now I always have to make it be the best relationship ever because she was not even interested in getting married in the first place. So any mistake I make, boom, she'll tell me, you know what, I told you I didn't want to get married. So first make sure you're both in love with the thought of marriage. That'll be first things first. 2, I would highly recommend if you're going to marry someone, marry them from the same religion or same belief. Why? Because if you believe in this kind of religion and your husband believes in that kind of religion, it creates a mix for the kids. Where do they want to go? What do they want to do? You know, oh, my mom is Jewish, my father is Christian. He doesn't know what he's doing, who he is, how to celebrate. It's also very difficult. In marriages, people have to be on the same page. Both parties need to be on the same exact page. If dad says something, mom says the same thing. If mom says something, dad supports her with the same thing. So that way the kids are never in the mix. A lot of times today you'll see, oh, the dad said no. Well, they go to the mom, mommy, I need this. The mom says, okay. Or the opposite. The mom says no, the dad says okay. So now the kid knows where to go. Oh, I'll go to dad. And then he favors dad, or then he favors mom. That's a big, big, big mistake. Now, when you're in a relationship and starting young, women do become a lot more mature than men, much faster. A woman at the age of 12, she gets her period. The reason she gets her period was because she was created to be able to carry babies at the age of 12. That's when she's able to bear a child. That's how God created us. A man is becoming a man in the Jewish religion at the age of 13. He gets his bar mitzvah. A woman gets it at 12. But if you think about it biologically, it's her body already asking her at that young age that she wants to have a baby. So her waiting till she's in her early 20s, that's her waiting half of her life to have already a baby. A man doesn't have that same reaction. He doesn't have that biological feeling where he wants to have a child. So for him, when he's more settled, it's the best time for him to have kids. Now, the young guys who are out there chasing a bunch of girls, girls are going to be your biggest downfall if you're chasing a bunch. All you need is one good woman, and that's going to be more than enough. You don't have to have 10 or 20 or 1,000 girls.
Yeah, definitely need to have one good woman in your life that's going to hold you down and be very supportive. You know, you want somebody that's going to, you know, thrive with you, push you to greatness. Somebody who wakes up in the morning, tells you, go fucking kill the day. You know, a lot of guys, they date girls that just kind of suck the life out of them. They tell them, I'm going to go to the club tonight, I'm going to hang out with my friends. And the guy is like, you know, freaking out, trying to figure out why she's not hanging out with him or what she's doing or if she's okay. Yeah, you know, they want to party, and these guys are just, you know, sitting at home waiting for them to come home to them.
It's the same with the guys, right?
Yeah.
What's better to have? One good friend or 1,000 fake friends?
Only one good friend.
It's the same thing with women. You want to have one good woman that's willing to support you in everything that you're doing. And supporting, it could be just emotional. Emotional support for a man is like the greatest thing. And you know, I heard Mike Tyson say this the other day, and it really hit me. We want to marry our mothers. Thank God, we are blessed with the best mom in the world. I know that a lot of people could say that, but I'm telling you, we are blessed with the best mother. She is an absolute angel.
She's like a sister and a mom at the same time.
Yeah, and a best friend. But when you're choosing a woman and you believe she's going to be like your mother, remember, a mother always looks out for her kids' survival. A woman is looking out for her own survival. So the woman that you're going to marry is not going to be the woman that's going to be exactly like your mom. But it's good to find her as someone that has the same values, same beliefs. The person that really is going to stick by you no matter what. And it's not just when you have money.
When you're sick.
When you're sick.
When you're not feeling good. When people are talking shit. Somebody that can comfort you whenever you need it. That's very important. You know, if you have problems, somebody that you can talk to, somebody that you can open up to. You know, a lot of people, they feel like they can't open up to their, you know, significant other because they feel like that person's going to judge them.
Right.
You know, so you definitely want to find somebody that you can feel like you're in love with, has that mom figure, but then also can be your best friend.
Right.
It's very, very important. You know, you want to wake up every day happy, and somebody that also smiles at you every morning.
Right.
You know, that you can have, you know, wake up in the morning, have breakfast with, talk about, you know, what you're going to do today, how your day went, you know, somebody to fall back on. And the same thing, if she needs to fall back on you, you can, you know, be there for her. You got to be her rock.
Exactly. You know, one of the things is that women are hypergamous creatures, and they'll always look for someone of their status or higher status. And nowadays, the high status men, which are high value, and they understand that these women want them for their money. They understand that. So it's very hard to come by a woman that doesn't want you for your money. But if you find one that does not want you for your money, and actually truly loves you and supports you and there by your side, growing with you or helping your growth. And again, helping your growth doesn't mean giving you money. A woman's money is no good with us. There's no woman that goes with me on a date and will pay for the valet parking or pay for dinner or pay for anything. We open the car door. We pay for everything around. We make sure that she feels at all times that she's protected, like she's walking around with a bodyguard.
Full-time gentleman.
Exactly. You can't be a gentleman here and there, and never cross the line with a woman. Never curse, never yell.
She's always right.
Exactly, she's always right. But when it's a good woman and you keep her happy, you know, happy wife, happy life, it's not because it's, you know, a fake quote, it's a true quote. If you keep her happy, she will keep you happy and she will nurture the kids in a happy way. If you make your wife miserable, you're gonna make the kids miserable. Because if she's sad, the whole house is down. Everybody could feel it. When a woman is sad, it's the worst. It is the worst thing you could do. In any religion, they speak about it. If the woman is sad, if you're bringing her down, if you're bringing her to the point where she feels suppressed, the whole house is gonna feel it. Every person in the house. So a woman, guys, please, I want you to understand, she's more than a diamond, she's more than gold, she's everything in this world. If it wasn't for a woman, we wouldn't be here. We definitely wouldn't be able to create life. So she creates life. She's a real goddess. Now for the women out there that are listening, I want you to understand that I heard also this amazing quote that someone said a while back. He said, anything that's very, very, very expensive in life is covered. Gold, you have to go dig it. A diamond, you have to go dig it. You want a pearl, you have to go deep into the oceans and get it out. It's because everything that is worth a lot of money is covered. And when women wear things that are completely sexual and everything is, you know, just out in the open, when she's way more important and expensive than anything that you could find on earth. She's the strongest force on the planet. She's the most amazing thing on the planet. When she's dressed completely open, that just removes most of her value. Because men also love to keep something for the imagination. So I see a woman that's wearing sweats and a t-shirt, that's to me like the sexiest thing on the planet. Why? Because right away she looks like a good girl. And I was talking about it the other day. I said women that are dressing in a way that is, like men are more conservative nowadays than women. Because women nowadays are wearing things that are completely open. At first it was a spandex and that show, you know, I call it naked with colors, the spandex. But then it was like t-shirts, then the t-shirts got shorter and shorter, and now it's a sports bra. And now the spandex are open and they're up the butt, and then like they constantly lift it more so it'll be higher up the butt. And they'll walk around places like that, and that's all sexual things, right? The tits are out, the butt is out. It's the same as if a man was to wear right now pants and his penis was in a sleeve and he's walking around the mall like that.
Your girl would definitely be uncomfortable.
Exactly, right? Because everybody's gonna stare there. Imagine, right now I walk around in some sort of pants and my penis is in a sleeve and I'm walking around and it's like going side to side. Everybody's gonna look over there. It's the same thing for a woman. She walks around, her boobs are out, her butt is, you know. If a man did that, we would be looked at as like pedophiles. We would look at, it's wrong, right? And if if I'm at the park right now and that's what I'm wearing and there's kids around,
You're going to jail.
but a woman does the same exact thing. So think about it. Men today are literally more conservative than women.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know, women they don't understand what a man truly wants, or what a man truly needs. If you're a woman and you're dressed more business-like, you know, nice blazer, more covered, but you're a beautiful woman, or cute, or sweet, or even just look innocent and young, or some sort of kindness to you, innocent and kind,
You'll be a lot more respected.
and every man is going to want you.
Yeah.
If you think you're out in the club, nobody goes to the club to find a wife. So when you're in the club and somebody's talking to you, he's thinking about a one-night stand at most. That's it. Other than that, if you're looking to have somebody that wants to marry you, you shouldn't be at a club.
And if you did get married after the club, good for you. I hope you guys are still
You made
married.
it. You made it. All right, guys. So now another thing I want to tell you, if anybody is going into a relationship, relationships need to be worked on literally daily and weekly and monthly. Always do something good with your significant other.
Get her flowers once a week.
Yeah, every Shabbat, every Friday, when I have a woman, I bring her flowers. Women love flowers. It's the little things that matter in life. You could bring her a Range Rover, that's fine. But at the same time, if you turn the Friday night into literally like an event of bringing her flowers and coming home and kissing her and hugging her and having dinner with her and telling her how incredible your week was and how much you're appreciative of her, that woman will do so much more the following week for you because she sees that you also appreciate it. Don't take good things for granted. That's one thing that a lot of people do. They take things for granted. And taking it for granted is horrible because it's just like if you made right now $100,000 a month and you just, the next month you made 100,000, the next month you made 100,000 and you just look at it, okay, I just make 100,000.
Yeah, I just made it.
Whatever. God eventually will take that away from you. You got to show God that you love Him and you thank Him. I wake up every morning, I thank God. I go to bed, I thank God. I go to sleep, I dream of God. Why? Because He's always with me and He's with all of us. So it's very important to be appreciative of anything that you receive in life. And the young guys who are looking for a woman, I don't understand the whole thing today. We are seeing each other. Oh, we're talking. We're dating. She's my girlfriend. You know, it's like, if you're with somebody, I could tell you that the best thing if you're with somebody is to look at it long term. For the men out there that are looking to just have sex and one night stands and finesse the girl, let me tell you something. That karma is going to come back to you. If I want to just sleep with a girl, I will tell her up front. I'm not going to finesse her. Oh, I love you. I'm going to buy you the world. I'm going to be with you. And then after that, you just don't ever talk to her again.
That shit comes back with interest.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. Come back with interest, bro. Pound that shit. It does, guys. It does. Because at the end of the day, one day you're going to marry a girl and she's going to be one of those girls that have been with everybody. And you just don't know.
And you'll never know until you take her out
and you fall in love with her, you marry her, and one day it's like, oh, we see that boyfriend. Oh, we saw that guy here. Oh, that guy. Oh, your girl has been with fucking 50 men. And you're that asshole that did that to a bunch of other women.
And now you're with a woman that's below average.
Exactly. She's
not high valued in the Salvation Army.
She's on clearance.
50% off.
You know, at the end of the day, karma
Is a
bitch, and it's something that does happen. So don't be that asshole guy. If you're a man and a real man, you should have stoicism. You should learn how to have self-control. Not go and lie to a woman, especially a young, naive woman that wants to be in a long-term relationship, wants to get married, and then you slept with her and left her. You traumatize her, and then I might meet somebody like that, and now I won't marry her because of all the trauma she's been through. And I don't want to have to deal with it because I can't be a psychologist. And I've been there before where I was a psychologist, and it's not fun because the whole relationship, she's sucking the life out of you. Why? Because of asshole guys who fucking put her through this shit. So don't do that, guys. Be that man that holds respect, integrity, and honor in everything that you do in life. Not just in business, not just with your parents. But the best things that you could do is respect your parents, respect older people, respect the women that you're talking to, respect the people in your life, respect your employees, respect your partners. Always show respect. That is looked upon like the greatest thing on the planet. Anybody that knows me they have a lot of respect for me. Why? Because I respect them. And I always look at them and I give the benefit of the doubt that these people are the perfect, that's a perfect guy right there. If he's gonna prove me wrong, fine. But I don't come into any relationship with anybody being skeptical. I give them the benefit of the doubt that they are perfect. They'll show me later whatever it is that they are. Now, getting to know a person, don't try to change a person. Because once they get comfortable with you, they'll just change back. So if you meet a girl or you meet a guy, let them be who they are. See who they are as a person. If they do things that are not fit for you, if those things don't fit you, guess what? Just don't be with them. But they're not wrong, they're not bad. If she's somebody that wants to be a prostitute, okay. She wants to be a porn model, a porn star, that's fine. You want to do OnlyFans, that's fine. You want to run around naked on the street, that's fine. It just does not fit my needs. I'm someone who has a son. I couldn't bring next to me somebody that does certain things or dresses a certain way. I come from a religious family. My mom's a religious woman. We're very conservative. I've always had long-term relationships. I can't have somebody that puts anybody that's going to be next to me, she's representing me. So whatever you do is fine, it just might not fit me. Or whatever I do is fine, it might not fit you. It goes both ways. Now, when women get into a relationship, if you're somebody that's just coming around and sleeping with a guy and leaving, that means that that's all you're giving. If that's all you're giving, that's all he's taking. And if that's all he's taking, that's all that you're going to be receiving. That's the end of the day what it is. If you want a man that's going to be there for you, that's going to love you, that's going to be by your side, support you, want to marry you, you have to do more than just giving him sex. And don't ever talk about past relationships. Like, nobody wants to hear it. I go on a date with a woman my age and I hear about 20 past relationships. I will not be with a woman that sits there and talks to me about red flags, how sad she is, how depressed she is, how much she's traumatized from her old relationships, how much they were bad to her. Now I need to figure that out and how to help her and how to accommodate her needs daily. It's enough for people to live with themselves. So to live with another person, you really have to be like a strong person that's really looking forward to life with somebody that you're going to be, at the end of the day, just their therapist. Like, that is a very, very hard task. Guys, I'll tell you one thing. Stay away from modern women. Stay away from them. If they're looking to wear the clothing that is the top of the line clothing, and she just wants a Gucci bag, and she wants a Louis Vuitton purse, and she needs a Rolex, and she needs, to travel all the time, and she wants to suck the life out of you, stay away from these women, because she's with you for the money that you have now. The second she finds somebody with more money, she's going to leave you for that person. She's not going to stick around. You need a woman that's going to love you for you. Because men love realistically, women love idealistically. Because they love the idea of what a man could provide to them. That's why you could see a super hot girl with an ugly guy, or an older guy, or a fat guy, or whatever it is, a lazy guy. But as long as he's got money, he could get some of the finest women in the world. That does not happen with men. You don't see a 20-year-old man dating a 65-year-old woman. You don't see that. And then these women call these guys sugar daddies. Their highest value as a woman is to stay as pure as possible. My woman, if she stands next to me or if she goes in town to get something and people see her, she's representing me. A boy, let's say in the family right now, could be a gangster, he could be a drug dealer, he could be a druggie. But if the daughter is a slut, everybody looks at that family like it's a shit family. It is what it is. And the purity of the woman is what men look for. I want a woman that's pure. I want a woman that's in every culture, every religion, it says the woman needs to stay pure. And it has nothing to do with men being insecure. That's bullshit. That has nothing to do with it. A woman needs to be pure. And if you want a man to look at you in a way where he'll marry you, Stay pure. When you meet somebody, don't go for Netflix and chill. Don't go over their house. Don't look to be, straight in their bed to give them the best sex that you could give them and you think that's what they want. Because at the end of the day, that's not what we need and that's not what you need.
Have them chase too,
Yeah, have the men chase you. And not like not answering calls or not answering texts. Answer. But be less available and do not go to their houses. Do not sleep with them for like 2 months. I guarantee you. Because at the end of the day, any man that's out there and he's working and he's making a lot of money and he buys a Lambo or he buys a jet, the guy is not doing it just because he wants to show off to his boys. He's doing it because he wants to have the best woman. And for us, the best woman is as pure as possible, which means hasn't been damaged by too many relationships, hasn't been around the block, doesn't dress slutty, doesn't dress in a way where every person that sees her looks at her in a sexual way. Oh my God, I want to sleep with that. That's what men think about. That's the first thing that man thinks about when he sees a woman like that.
And if also you have if you have the guy chase you for a couple months, or he doesn't even stick around for those 2 months because he keeps trying to get you, in bed, then it's good for you because now you're not stuck with some guy who just wanted to have sex with you and leave.
Right.
It's the chase is will tell you if it's gonna make it or break it.
Right. Men chase pussy all the time, but if that chase will be long enough, that man's gonna want to marry you.
Yeah.
He's not gonna want to just sleep with you because then he wants to conquer you. And man loves the chase because we're hunters by nature, so we like to hunt. But women have access to sex. Men have access to relationships and marriages. So as long as you don't provide the sex very quick, you will get that man and that good man. And look at a lot of the women nowadays, they're in their 30s, and they don't have a man. They're not in a relationship. What do? They go for whatever they can find just because they want to have a kid. Because their biological clock is ticking, and it's time to have a child, and it's now. Because their body was able to create a baby from the time they're 12. So now they're 35. That's 3 times the age of where she could have had a baby. I'm not saying in now time anyone should have a baby at 12, but I'm saying biologically, this is how God created us. So if a woman really wants to have a good man, 1, let him chase. Don't sleep with him right away. 2, dress a little bit more conservative. Don't be cheap. Leave something for the imagination of the men. And 3, ladies, get to know the men deeper on an emotional state where you understand him and get to know his family before doing anything with him. Because when you get married, you want to grow a family, not shrink the family. So when you're marrying somebody, you're going to marry their family. They marry your family. Make sure your family approves of him and make sure his family approves of you. And if you're in the same culture and same beliefs, it's the best, it will be the longest lasting relationship. Because if somebody, let's say, is Jewish or somebody's Muslim, someone is Christian, and they bring the 2 families together, and they have a lot to talk about, and they celebrate the same holidays, all of that, it's always together, believe me, you guys are going to have a beautiful relationship, and you guys will have a beautiful family, and it's going to last, it's going to outlast most relationships. Nowadays, 70% of relationships, of marriages, get divorced the first year. There's a reason for that, because everything became like disposable. A man meets a woman, he thinks he wants her, he sleeps with her, then he goes off and does all his social media things, and then he's like, wow, there's another girl. Look at this girl in Miami. Look at this girl in Dubai. Look at that girl in LA. Oh my God, that girl from like Russia is the hottest thing on the planet. Get rid of social media. If you're on social media, you need to be there either to get educated or to sell something or educate others. If you're not running a business, if you're not getting educated, or you're not educating others and benefiting others, you have no reason to be on social media. It's only going to ruin your life. People became depressed. You remember how they stopped the likes for a while?
Yeah.
Because people got depressed and committed suicide because they weren't getting enough likes.
Yeah, if they didn't get like 1,000 likes in like a minute, somebody who's like famous, they'd fucking flip out. They'd have a panic attack. They're like, oh, I'm not good enough. Or they're trying to like, you know, they have body dysmorphia. They try to compare themselves to other people.
Yeah.
You know, it's horrible.
Right.
I was on social media for a very long time and I stopped for like the last 5 years. I'm only doing this now because, you know, I want to help other people and educate people, as you said. You know, it's not just a business, but also if you want to help others at this point.
And he's somebody that literally everything he started, you know, he kind of started making a lot of money in the time that he met his girl. And they got together and he was like, I don't need social media anymore. I have an amazing girl. She's absolutely phenomenal. She is, by the way, I'm a Taurus. She's a Taurus like me. Taurus people, guys, are very faithful. Very faithful.
Yeah.
They are very honest. They know how to keep people away from them. So if I'm in a relationship and a woman says to me, hi, I go, hi, how you doing? She says, good, wow, you look great. I go, thank you. Do I know you? No? Okay, have a good day. That's how we answer. That's how Tauruses are. We're extremely loyal.
Yeah.
And she is probably one of the best girls that I've met in my life. You know, from a place where she's loyal. 2, she's good. 3, she's a good girl, you know. And they've been together since what, she was 20?
Yeah, right about 20, 21.
You know,
Yeah.
not a girl that's been around the block. You see, she's a good girl. I don't even know, maybe she's a virgin when you met her. But, you know, this girl is a really good girl. And from the moment that I met her, I told him, I said, hey, this is a keeper. And they grew together, and he's doing very, very well in business. My brother and I have multiple businesses together, and also have multiple businesses kind of separate, but whatever we do is together. Everything is together. Whatever money I have is literally in the will for him, and whatever money he's got, I'm in the will for him. Like there's no escaping the brotherhood. And if you don't have a brother, guys, I can tell you that you have us today, the people that will support you, educate you, and show you love. That's why we're out on social media. And nowadays I realize that a lot of people are suffering, and especially in relationships. So if you are in a relationship and you want your relationship to be better, the greatest thing also is routine.
Yeah.
A good routine in the week, and then on the weekend, go celebrate. Celebrate what you've done through the week.
Your accomplishments, yeah.
And also, do not meet somebody and forget about your family, forget about your friends. There needs to be time for everybody. No. You can't just go off with them, run off to the sunset, because eventually you're going to get sick of that.
Yeah, no, keep your circle small so you can give everybody attention.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a big circle. You don't need multiple friends. You don't need multiple, you know, people in your life. You could just have a small group of people, which is going to be like one of your best friends. If you have a brother or sister, keep them close. If you're in a relationship, keep her close as well, or him. And then your parents. You know, keep everybody that's very close to you extra close. Give them all the time and attention that they need, because everybody in your family, your friends need attention as well. You can't neglect them. You know, it hurts them, and eventually it'll catch up and hurt you as well, because they'll keep moving on, and then you'll just kind of be in the sidelines. And then you'll see that your own family is hanging out with each other, and then you're not part of it. It's going to kill you inside. So you want to make sure that you give everybody in your life attention. You want to be there for them. If they need something, you're right there, you know, calling you at, you know, Ben calls me at 2 o'clock in the morning and I pick up. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Always there for each other. So if you have a brother or sister, you know, give them the world. You know, whatever they need.
Cherish it.
Cherish it. Make sure you're there for them. Give them whatever they need. And if they need help, whatever it is, just be there for them. It's very, very important.
Now, also going back to the Jewish Bible and the way that we see life. So one thing about Jewish people is that we're all about family. Now, it says, first, before you help others, help your immediate family. The ones that are in your presence, which is your brother, sister, kids, parents, wife, husband. These are the people that you help first if they ever need help. After that, you help others. But the more you could help, the better you're going to feel about yourself. And The young guys. So relationship for a young guy is very difficult nowadays because there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of men. I'm a single man, and I could be one of your competition, right? And we're competing for all the same women. But nowadays I've learned that if a woman is out there and she's in the open and she's doing OnlyFans, let's say for instance, I would never date her. We have no reason to date. If she's somebody who does almost like nudes or all these pictures on social media and stuff, I would never date her because that's not my woman, that's everybody's woman.
You don't want your kids one day, in high school or middle school, and then like all the kids show like, oh, this is your mom on OnlyFans or like on fucking Google. Like that would be like a nightmare.
Right.
That would be horrible. So,
right.
You don't want to. Eventually, you'll try to like subside that pain of her doing that, but later on, when your kids grow up and as you get older, it's gonna catch up to you.
Right.
You're gonna feel the pain really, really bad.
Right. It's very sad nowadays to see how women became very cheap with what they're providing.
Was it
very
like $9.99?
Like you don't want to be cheap. You are the greatest thing on the planet. Do not be cheap. Now, a lot of the women, I'll tell you, a lot of women nowadays, since I've been single, I realized I could walk up to a girl anywhere, and after a couple-minute conversation, she'll never give her number. She'll give her social media, but she won't give her number. And a lot of women will skip on amazing, amazing opportunity. So one thing that I've noticed is that women and humans in general, the young generation nowadays, they don't have communication skills. If I stop and say hi to a girl, she's most likely going to tell me that she has a boyfriend or she's not interested. Why? Because I met her on the street.
But don't you remember that one girl that told you she has a boyfriend that you met on the street?
Yeah.
And then she found your Instagram a few weeks later.
Right.
The Russian girl.
Yes.
And then she messaged you that she broke up with her ex.
Right.
Because she wanted to give you the number. Well,
Right.
I guess she had a boyfriend at the time, but...
But guys, it's sad that if there's a nice guy that approaches you and you like him, you like the way that he looks, you like the way that he approached you, you like what he said, you guys kind of clicked, there's nothing wrong by giving a phone number. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've always dated a Russian or Eastern European or Ukrainian, and for me it was like the easiest thing because I walk up to a Russian, I look at her, she looks at me, I go, nice to meet you. She goes, I'm not interested. I'm telling her, you're sure? She says, well, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it right now. And then I'll tell her, look, but I like you. Why don't you give me your phone number and we'll go out to lunch. We'll talk about it. And she'll give me her phone number. If it's an American girl out here, I'm from LA. If it's an American girl, if I keep talking to her, she'll look at me like I'm some weirdo. Even though she thinks I'm good looking, everything. It's almost like she's entitled. Now, I found out lately that Latina women are absolutely some of the warmest women in the world. Oh, a Colombian is going to know you for 15 minutes and she's going to call you papi. That's so sexy, and then they like hold you, they caress you, they hug you. You're like on the first date, I feel like I'm married to her. That's something that you don't feel with Eastern European women, and you don't feel that with American women, and it's something that in our culture is so like natural, but it's unbelievable that the Latinas are so well at doing that. They make you feel amazing. They want to be a woman. They don't want to be this feminist shit of, I don't need a man. How can you live without a man? I can't live without a woman. I've been single for 2.5 years now, and believe me, it's some of the hardest thing for me. Because one, I'm not going to take in a woman that's, not my style. We have to click, we have to have the same mindset, we have to have a lot of the same traits together, so we can have a good relationship. Because what I know today, I didn't know back then, but if I knew what I know today, back when I was 20, I would find a woman that is exactly what I need, the way I see her today, and I would be married. But the reason I wasn't married was because I met a woman, I wasn't knowledgeable enough about women, and I thought, oh, she could be my wife. Then I spent with her 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, and then we end up separating. But now I know exactly what it is I want, and I know exactly what I need in a relationship.
Yeah, I feel like after you go through a couple relationship cycles, you kind of figure out what you want from a woman, you know, or vice versa, like what you want from a guy, a man, whatever. You know, I feel like a little bit of experience will give you a little bit of knowledge about who you are as a person, what you want the other significant other to provide for you. You know, as you said, it's not about money or anything. Like, you want that motherly care. You want to have that girl give you attention, care for you, talk to you, be your best friend, be supportive. So it's, you know, there's a lot of women out there that are basically full-time working and they just don't give the man any attention. They don't, you know, they're not there to even listen to them, or they're too tired, they have to go to sleep, they have to wake up the next morning. So they don't really, you know, you want to find a woman that can also balance her life, or a man that can balance his life and balance, you know, a relationship and work and everything else around. You know, you don't want somebody who's just work, you know, and then doing their hobbies and then going to sleep, and then you're just, you know, part of the life cycle for them. You want somebody who's going to be there and be able to give, you know, go to work, give you the time you need, go do their hobbies, come back, spend some more quality time with you, and then go to sleep. And then, as I said, also, like, look forward for the weekend and do some fun stuff, fun activities. Maybe go, you know, if you live in LA, go to San Diego for the weekend, go to San Francisco, you know, fly out to Mexico, go to Cancun, Tulum, you know, do fun small trips. You know, you want to always have some excitement in the relationship.
Or else it dies out.
It dies very quickly.
What's worse than love, like keeping you around, is being comfortable. A lot of people are afraid of the change. So they'll just stick around, and then they get older and older and older.
Yeah.
If I'm with somebody, we're gonna grow together, let's say, but we always grow together. We never will grow apart, because someone that loves you, they become literally a teammate. And to be honest with you, I'm someone that's always had businesses, and I was always hustling and making money. And a woman that I dated, without even knowing, she was signing up to also be my assistant, because we're working all the time, no matter what it is. So she's not only my woman, she's not only my girl, she also becomes like my assistant, my lifelong friend, my best friend, and we get a lot of things done together as a team.
But also, if you're going to work with your significant other, you got to let her know that when it's business talk, it's business, not to take it personal. You know, and after work, you know, you can, you know, don't take the stress and don't take the stress and
don't bring the heat of the day
don't bring the
into
heat of
your
the day.
relationship into the home.
Yeah, don't bring it into the home. Keep it separate, because you don't want to go back after work and then fight about what you guys argued about earlier. The argument during work was for work. It's not a full day fight.
Right.
You know?
Now let me give you guys a little bit of tips. First of all, guys, you are not valuing yourself enough. You're not. Did you know that if you are making $70,000 a year and you're a single man and you're at average height, which is 5'8", to find a man like that, the chances are 5.4%. 5.4%. That means that you guys are literally gold. Now, if you're somebody that makes more money than that and he's taller, if you're 6 feet tall, and you're making $100,000 a year and you're a single man, it's literally, to find a man like that, you're in the 1%. The 1%. So for me, if I'm going to be with somebody, today, I'll be honest with you, I prefer being with somebody who comes from a rich family, because then I know for sure they don't want me for my money. And for somebody like me who makes, you know,
good money,
very good money, let's say, let's put it like this: last month's expenses were $80,000. That was just expenses.
I'm just one side of the business.
No, not business. I'm talking about personal. Personal, I had literally $80,000 expenses in 1 month. So you have to understand that if I make a certain amount of money, I also got to pay taxes, and also you have the expenses of a lifestyle, and you also want to save money. So that could kind of explain to you guys how much money I'm making. For somebody like me to take in someone that is coming from somewhere that is not really from a place who she knows what money is, most likely she's just gonna want me for my resources. Although I'm a very nice guy, I'm genuine, I'm everything. But I've noticed when I look back, my ex literally wanted me for my resources.
Yeah, if you met a woman and then you started from nothing and you guys came up together, that's a different situation. But yeah, definitely if you're already in that 1% and up, you definitely want to find a woman that's somewhere in your status or has a good family, a wealthy family, so she's not there for just your money.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you're going to be with somebody who hasn't done anything in their life and you're in that 1%, you're pretty much giving her like a huge jump start, and you're giving it to her for a discount price, just her being around.
Yeah.
And you're giving her everything that you've worked so hard for. Now, if that will happen, I'm telling you right now, because there's no woman that's a rich woman that will take a poor man and make them, rich or give them half of their money. That would never happen. On the other hand, a rich man will take a poor woman out of the street as long as he's interested in her and will change her whole life around, give her the world. But if you look at somebody like Dan Bilzerian, for instance, he's got all these women around. If you take Dan and put Dan on Hollywood, on the street, as a homeless guy, covered with a blanket, with his beard and his hair, believe me, no woman will stop by and say, "Oh my God, you look like such a nice guy. I want to hang out with you. You want to come over?" But since he's got money, he's got a ton of women around him. So what are they there for? They're there for fame, recognition, money.
Fun trips.
He's being used 24/7. The guy overdosed multiple times. The guy does a ton of drugs. The guy constantly sees a therapist. Why? Because they drained the life out of him. But imagine he had one woman that was an amazing woman that loves him, truly loves him. He would feel so fulfilled. He wouldn't need to do any drugs. He wouldn't need to have 1,000 women next to him. King Solomon had a quote, because he had 1,000 wives. He said, 1,000 women I had and not even one wife did I find. That is insane, because he had so many wives, but he didn't really truly found a wife, because a wife is somebody that's there with you and she goes with you all the way up. And for the young women, if you think you're 20 and you're out there and you're partying your ass off and you're doing drugs and you're sleeping around with men, and then all of a sudden you get to 30 and then you're like, "Oh, now I gotta find a man." Men caught on to that. We already know what's going on. It's all over the social media. Everybody's talking about it. So you gotta stop that. You gotta stop doing that. And if you meet somebody, don't jump away. Don't jump into bed right away. Don't jump into conclusion that that's somebody that's gonna be with you forever and right away give him the world. Slowly get to know him. A way to a man's heart is through his belly. So if you're gonna feed him like a mom, he's gonna look at you 1,000,000 times better than if you gave him sex.
What was that quote? Don't leave your man hungry or horny.
Yeah.
Don't let him leave the house hungry or horny.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be an issue. But no, seriously, guys, ladies, if you are looking to be in somebody's life and be there forever, and you want a good man, and you know what a good man is, there's a ton of good men out there.
But also, as he says, he keeps referring to a man. Find a man. Don't find a kid, Don't find somebody who's a little bit older than you, somebody who's already established, somebody who's already has his life going, somebody has a direction as well.
Right.
You don't want to find somebody who's younger than you that's still trying to figure himself out, because he won't take you too serious, and it most likely will not last because he still doesn't know what he wants from himself.
If he's a boy, he's complaining. If he's a boy, he's not interested in doing stuff. He's lazy.
He's going through ups and downs, depression, sadness.
That's a boy. A man, he takes care of all of your problems.
Doesn't matter if he's sad, depressed, he'll stay strong,
I'll never cry next to my woman. There's no reason to. If I need to cry, I cry by myself. Come back. Everything's 100%. Or I call my brother. That's where we cry. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit there and cry next to a woman. I always need to be her rock, and she always needs to look up to me. Why? Because she needs somebody strong. If I won't be that guy, she's going to leave me for somebody else.
You got to be very masculine.
Very masculine. And you know, actually, it's not very masculine. You just got to be masculine. Nowadays, you call it very masculine seeing somebody like me because men are just not masculine anymore.
Yeah.
They complain, they whine, they cry, they get sad.
And then the woman takes over the role of the man.
Right.
The woman becomes the man in the relationship.
And then what happens?
And then she leaves him.
Did you guys know that women cheat more than men? Because women are hypergamous creatures and they go for a high value man, if they can't find him and they stay with somebody who is not of high status or high value, they end up cheating with the man who is high status and high value. How do I know that? I've never had a girlfriend that was single, ever in my life. And in another podcast, I'm going to share with you guys my whole journey with relationships.
That one's going to be a
how it
crazy
went.
one.
Because I'll tell you the truth about what's been happening in the world when Ben was around.
There's going to be a movie about it after.
For sure, 100%. But I could tell you that I've never in my life found a woman that was single. And it's funny because the other day this guy talked to me and he goes, well, guess what? I'm like, what? He's like, well, finding a woman that's not single, you only have to battle one man. Finding a woman that's single, you have to battle all the men in the world. So you did it right, Ben. And you know, we had a good laugh, but I will never talk to a woman again if she's in a relationship. That was the biggest mistake I've ever made. It was wrong of me. It wasn't right. Thinking that I might, you know, be that man for her. Plus, it was a woman that was sad, and I ended up taking the role of being that man for her. And next thing you know, I was a therapist. I was her psychologist. I was her psychiatrist. I was no longer her man. And it sucks. Because nowadays, if I'm going to meet somebody, I want a woman that's happy. And a lot of the young women are happy. They're optimistic. Yeah. They're just looking for life to have a good time. Having a good time doesn't mean sleep around. But when we're talking about things, we laugh, we throw jokes. It's funny time.
You don't want a girl that's in a relationship or just came out of a relationship. You want somebody who's fully healed, somebody who's already, you know, got over that bump in the road. Yeah, you don't want to have a girl that just got out of a relationship or that's one in a relationship. You want a girl that's basically
clean slate.
Clean slate, fresh, happy, and got over that, you know, bump in the road.
Right. That'll probably be the best thing that you could do for yourself. Because jumping also from one relationship to another, you guys need some time off. Time away from women or time away from men. Almost like you're reviving yourself. You're taking.
How'd you say it? Let me
reintroduce myself.
Yeah, you gotta reintroduce yourself to yourself.
Exactly. You gotta take time away, and the best conversation you're ever gonna have is gonna be with yourself. Then you'll be able to see a little bit outside of the box. Because when you're in something, it's very hard to see from outside the box. So if you are out, give yourself time. Eventually you'll look back and be like, oh, that was a mistake, that was a mistake. Okay, I've healed myself now and I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah, and if you just got out of a relationship and you don't know what to do, just go to the gym, find new hobbies, go play tennis, go play basketball, get into boxing classes. If you have a brother or sister, go on a trip with them. You know, do some fun activities, kind of maybe go in nature, you know, go find yourself, you know, and as Ben says, everything is seasonal, you know, so if you make it through the season, you know, summer's coming up, so.
Yeah, stay warm enough in winter and summer will come. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Love you all. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, brother, for coming out.
Of course.
No, I'm drifting, catch you slipping, won't be back again. No, I'm drifting, catch you slipping, won't be back again. Roll the riches, lot of fishes, so we throwing nets. Hide the shipping, Medicare, now yeah, we back again. No, I'm drifting, catch you slipping, won't be back again. No, I'm drifting, catch